Welcome to This Explainer, where we're diving headfirst into the cinematic, electric world of the human brain. We're going to figure out exactly why we do what we do, and more importantly, how to optimize it. Today, we're taking a structured journey straight into the incredible machinery inside your skull. We'll examine its physical hardware, the often flawed software of our memory and decision making, and finally, how you can literally upgrade your entire system.
But first, let's just go ahead and bust a famous myth right out of the gate. You've probably heard 1,000 times that we only use 10% of our brains, right? Well, you actually use most of your brain most of the time. Brain scans clearly show that even when you're just sitting there, completely zoned out, staring at a wall, or even when you're fast asleep, complex neural networks across your entire brain are actively firing. So that 10% myth, it's flat out wrong. You are a full capacity biological marvel. Section 1. The hungry supercomputer. Let's look at the physical specs, the actual hardware of this miraculous, squishy organ. Okay, let's really dive into this. You have roughly 86 billion neurons in there. 86 billion. Each one of these microscopic cells is capable of firing up to 1,000 impulses a second, making tens of thousands of synaptic contacts with other neurons. To put that in perspective, a piece of brain tissue the size of a single grain of sand contains 100,000 neurons and a billion synapses. It's a massive, constantly buzzing network. And they are incredibly fast. The information zipping across those signal pulses travels at speeds up to 268 miles per hour. That's literally faster than a Formula One race car operating at its absolute top speed. So when you touch a hot stove or you suddenly recognize a friend's face in a crowded room, that lightning-fast data processing is entirely thanks to this incredible internal speed. But, all that processing power definitely demands a heavy toll. Your brain is actually surprisingly small. It weighs only about 3 pounds and takes up just 2% of your total body weight. Yet it sits up there and consumes a massive 20% of your body's total energy and oxygen intake. It is absolutely the most energy-hungry organ you possess, constantly demanding fuel just to keep the lights on. And this perfectly illustrates the sheer scale of your hardware. Your memory capacity is estimated at 1 quadrillion bytes. I mean, that's a million billion bytes. It's basically enough capacity to hold the entire internet. And the best part, it doesn't get used up like the hard drive in your laptop. Its potential is virtually unlimited. Section 2. Evolution's ultimate trade-off. This energy-hungry supercomputer definitely didn't come for free. To support this massive cognitive engine, we had to give up some serious physical stats over millions of years of evolution. The biological budget had to be balanced somehow. If we compare humans to chimpanzees, for example, their muscles are twice as strong as ours. If a human were to get into a bare-handed fight with a chimp half their size, the human would almost certainly lose. Our ancestors literally sacrificed raw physical power and muscle density in exchange for our massive, energy-draining frontal cortex. We essentially traded brawn for brain. And actually, it wasn't just our muscles that changed. To fuel this massive processor without spending our entire day just chewing raw vegetables, we had to invent cooking. Cooking acts as a sort of pre-digestion, letting us extract maximum energy from our food really quickly. This fundamentally changed our bodies. I mean, our jaws shrank, our digestive tracts shortened, and we completely lost the biological ability to survive purely on raw, unheated plant matter like our ape cousins. Section 3. The illusion of memory. Now let's move over to our mental software and look at how our brain actually stores the past. Because let me tell you, your memory is definitely not what you think it is. We tend to trust our memories as the absolute truth, but the reality is much more fluid. Your brain doesn't just save a video file to a hard drive that you can click and play back perfectly. Instead, any given memory is deconstructed and distributed across totally different areas of the brain. So every single time you remember something, your brain has to actively reconstruct those fragments, kind of like putting puzzle pieces back together on the fly. And because of this reconstruction process, our memories are, well, shockingly unreliable. Every time you pull a memory up, you are physically rewriting it based on a whole combination of overlapping factors. Obviously, the passage of time starts the decay, but your current emotions and internal motivations deeply color the details. Even environmental cues or the social context you're in when you remember something can subtly alter the facts. And here's the really crazy part. The frequency of recall, how often you remember something, can actually introduce more errors over time. If you recall a happy childhood memory while you're currently in a terrible mood, you might accidentally rewrite that memory with a slightly negative tint. It's a constantly shifting landscape.
Section 4. Who is actually deciding? If our memory is really that flawed and easily warped, it begs a rather terrifying question.
Are we really the rational, calculating creatures we believe ourselves to be? Think about your daily habits. From the sugary food you just can't stop eating to mindlessly checking your smartphone every 5 minutes. You tell yourself you're in the driver's seat, but ask yourself, who is really running the show when you make those split-second choices? The reality is that a staggering 95% of your decisions actually take place entirely in your subconscious mind. Think about that for a second. Before your conscious brain even realizes a choice has been made, your subconscious has already processed the environmental cues, cross-referenced your past experiences, and heavily weighed your hidden emotions to dictate your behavior.
To prove just how fragile our conscious control is, researchers did this fascinating experiment. They asked people to hold a pencil horizontally in their teeth, which physically forces the face into a slight smile, or between their lips, which forces a frown. And get this, the people forced to frown actually found a comedy routine significantly less funny. Just the physical state of their facial muscles manipulated their emotional perception and their mental choices. It's wild. Section 5. Rewiring your brain. Okay, deep breath. Despite all these software bugs and subconscious biases, there is a triumphant, incredibly powerful system update available.
And it's available to all of us, no matter your age. The crucial point here is neuroplasticity. Your adult brain is not fixed in stone. For decades, science thought that once you reached adulthood, your brain was locked in. But thanks to the discovery of neuroplasticity, we now know it's a dynamic, living network that continuously adapts. It physically grows new branches and prunes unused ones based entirely on how you use it. Which brings us to the golden rule of neuroplasticity. Neurons that fire together wire together. Every thought you repeat, every skill you practice, and every single habit you indulge literally strengthens specific electrical pathways. By consciously choosing what to focus on, you are fundamentally reshaping the physical gray matter inside your head. You become what you repeatedly do, all the way down to a cellular level.
So let's turn this into an actionable checklist. By optimizing these 4 pillars, you create the ultimate biological environment for your brain to upgrade itself. First, getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep consolidates the new neural connections you made that day. Second, regular aerobic exercise releases a protein called BDNF, which acts like miracle fertilizer for neuron growth. Third, a diet rich in omega-3s literally gives your brain the physical building blocks it needs for cellular architecture. And finally, managing your stress through mindfulness, that prevents the brain from shutting down its own plasticity. Knowing that every single thought, action, and bite of food physically sculpts this magnificent 3-pound universe inside your head, I want to leave you with a final thought. Your brain is changing right now, whether you direct it or not. The power is entirely in your hands. So if your brain is continuously changing, what will you train it to become today?